Okay, Cambridge 11, reading Test 1, reading 1. Crop growing skyscrapers. Let's see what we've got. We've got a gapful and true false not given. Probably the most common format for reading 1. Now, I want to talk a lot about scanning in this video because there are a couple of important things to point out. The scanning was very difficult for this reading. Why? Because as it turns out, they took this from the entire passage, from the whole passage. This was at the beginning. Towns and cities was all the way at the end. So it meant a lot of text to scan. Now, one thing that you could have done here, and this is a good technique to practice, is to quickly look at this one over here. It's a very good idea to try and find where is the boundary between the last one here and the first one here. Remember, very often, if you can't find that, you can quickly go here and see where this starts. Except, we would have scanned for that. And that's a nice thing to scan for because it's got a capital letter. And then you would have seen that it's over there. And that gives you some very important information. What does it tell you? It tells you they've started again at the beginning with the true false not given. And that probably means that this is from everywhere. Okay, so just to repeat, when you're scanning, in the first couple of minutes that you're scanning, yes, of course, try and find that. But also try and find something from the first one in the next question type. It can give you important information. Usually this will follow this, but if they start this at the beginning again, it means that this is from everywhere. Great. Now I want to talk a bit more about what to scan for. Of course, that's the first thing that you must go and find. Even before you find any of this, see if you can find that. Scan, 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 and actually it's right there. So that probably helps us a lot. Please remember, this is very important information. Now, another important thing I want to talk about is this. They've given the name of a group. The group is called all food plants. The answer is an example of a food plant. I don't know if you remember, we did that before. In this one over here, this was reading passage 2 in one of the Cambridge 12 tests. And they did it 3 times. They didn't give the name of the fuel. They gave the name of the group. The group is fuels. That was what you needed to find. That was the synonym for a particular fuel. So the point I'm trying to make is, if you scanned for fuel, you will not find it. Again here, this is not such a great example. This is the name of the group, all of the diseases. The answer was an example of one of the diseases. But the word diseases is very general. It was everywhere. So if you scan for disease, again, you would run into problems because there was disease, and disease was in many places. And this one is a very nice example of what I'm trying to say, a physical barrier. This is the name of the group, all physical barriers, for example, and there was the answer. But if you scan for physical barrier, it was not there. So let's go back to our test. This is not there. You can't find that. They've given the name of the group, and you need to find an example of that group. All right. So what does that mean for this? It means that it's quite difficult to find some good scanning language. You can't use that. You can't use that. Already is quite nice. They won't use already, but the tense will help you. Grown maybe, but I mean it's all about growing, farming, and indoors maybe. So don't worry if you can't find that. We know that we're starting over here. The heading helped you. Let's move on to the next one. Vertical farms. less need to take them long distances to customers, I'd probably go for the customers. Vertical farms could use methane from plants and animals. Now this is an excellent scanning word. Methane, it's a gas. It's like oxygen or carbon dioxide. Why is it an excellent scanning word? Because they can't paraphrase it. They can't make a synonym for it. Methane is methane. Plants and animals is always good. Consumption, perhaps it's a very general word. There's many synonyms for this. Cut, again, that could be decreased, reduced, anything. Agricultural vehicles, it's a good one to scan for, but they've done the same thing. They've given the name of the group. We're not going to find agricultural vehicles. We need to find an example of an agricultural vehicle. Same thing as that they've done here. Unnecessary is quite nice because they will paraphrase it, but there aren't many paraphrases. It means you don't need it. That's all it means. Light, great, a nice noun. Disadvantage is good. There are many synonyms, but you probably know them. Drawbacks and things like that. Planting in, a difficult one to find. And then towns and cities. This is probably our most important one because it tells us where this ends. But like I said, it's right at the end here. So it makes it really difficult. Okay, I'm going to sort of pause the video and go and highlight them. You should probably go and find these yourself. It'll give you a bit of a map. We can come back and find these two later. So go and find these. Okay, so I'll just say a couple of things about that. Vertical farms, the inverted commas helped us. Inverted commas often introduce important information. Customers, and they paraphrased or they gave a synonym. Consumers, no problem. Then they made it very difficult here because they skipped all of this. And the next one that we were looking for was methane from plants and animals, and it was all the way over there. One thing I really don't like that they did is there's no mention of animals here. I don't know why they did that. Maybe I have the wrong test or something, but they can't do that. I don't know why they did just say plants here and they said animals in the question. I've never seen that before. Agricultural vehicles and unnecessary, probably a difficult one. It would have actually helped you if you skipped it and went straight to light and disadvantage. Remember with scanning, you don't have to go this one, then. If you can't find it, skip it. Find the easy ones first. So light and disadvantage were quite easy to find. There's a disadvantage and there's light. That tells us that the agricultural vehicles is somewhere in the sentence. It can only be because in these gapful, they always go in order. So we want unnecessary vehicles, we want unnecessary and we want agricultural vehicles. Unnecessary, cut out the need for. And agricultural vehicles, maybe you know, maybe you don't. You don't need to know a tractor. It's the kind of vehicle that we use on a farm to pull things. Then towns and cities, again, it was very difficult. You needed to scan through all of this and it was over there. This one turned out to be not too difficult because it was right at the beginning, one form of vertical farming, right at the beginning of the paragraph. So that could have helped you a bit to find this and realize that towns and cities is at the end. Right, so we haven't found this yet, but we know we have a very good idea where it is. It'll be somewhere here. No problem, we'll find that later. Right, now, what do we do next? And I want to talk about nouns, verbs, adjectives. Please, I can't tell you enough how important this is, how much this will help you. Learn the grammar that will help you. I will make a grammar video later. So, what are we looking for here? Noun, verb, adjective. We want an example of a food plant. It's a noun. What other information? Take a look at this sentence. What other information do we see? This is a plural countable. It's got an S on the end. This is are because this is a plural countable. This verb belongs to this noun. But that means this is most probably also going to end with an S. I don't think that they can use an uncountable here. And they definitely can't use a single because there's no or an there. So we want a noun, but it's a plural countable. So I'm just going to put in there, it has an S on the end of it. And that really cuts down the number of words that you can choose. Right, another thing about grammar I want you to know is that if there's a preposition there, it means that this is a noun. There's a preposition, there's a preposition, there's a preposition, there's a preposition. It means all of these are definitely nouns. Nouns after a preposition. So we have a noun. Is it plural, countable, single? It's not singular. There's no a or a here. Look at that. That is plural countable. It's got an S. And that 99% of the time means that this will also be plural countable. The farms can't be located in an uncountable place. The farms must be located in a plural noun. So again, we're looking for a plural countable noun, and that means it will end in S. Vertical farms could use methane to produce. This one, not much. It's not singular. There's no a or an, but it could be uncountable. We produce something, so it is a noun. It could be uncountable or countable plural. Preposition means we're looking for a noun. It could be uncountable or plural, but not single. Now this is an important one. Take a look and see, what do you see? What important information do we have? The thing I need you to see there is that this must be an adjective, because this is the noun phrase. You need something, and there is the noun. That means this must be an adjective. This one also has some very, very important information. Please look. Can you see what that is? The grammar helps you a lot. Please look at that. That means that this is plural countable. It also has an S. It's very nice when you see these things, because there aren't that many plural countable nouns. Only a few that you can choose. Again, we're looking for a noun, but please notice these S's over here. So this won't be singular. It's possible that it's going to be countable, remotely possible, but it's more likely it's going to be, again, a plural countable noun, because these are plural countables. So that's actually quite good news. We know that we're looking for plural countable nouns in 4 of these, and we're looking for an adjective there, and that really helps us. Okay, let's go. All right, I'm going to go a bit faster now because I've done a lot of time on this so far. We're looking for an example of a food plant, and it's a plural countable noun. Something about already would help us, something about grown. We know that we're over here, and actually really you don't even need to know already or grown, because where are the plural countable nouns in this? And where is a food plant? Okay, there's a plural countable noun. There's the other one. There are only 2 here, and you know tomatoes is a food plant, so you can find that really quickly and be very certain about it. Right, another plural countable noun. It's so great when we have to find these, because they're just S words. The farms will be located in some things, meaning that there would be less need to take them. And we're here. Where is the plural countable noun? So easy. That's the only plural countable noun that there is. This helps you as well. That's a clear synonym for located, situated in, but really that's all we needed. However, please notice no more than 2 words, and there's an adjective attached to that. You can't just say centers, so you must use that adjective. Centers can be any center, any kind of center. We want urban centers. Great. These one was a little bit more difficult. You produce something. They really tried to trick you here. What do you produce? You use the methane to produce what? There's nothing there about produce. This generation is about generating the methane, so you can't use methane again. It's saying that the system would return energy back into the grid. So this is actually the produce. It would return the energy back into the grid. We know we're looking for a noun. There aren't many other nouns in this though. System, no. Energy, yes. And parts. So it's one of those three nouns. So it must be energy, to produce energy. If you know you're looking for what kind of word you're looking for, noun, plural, single, adjective, verb, it can really help you, even if you don't understand the sentence. Consumption of something, what do we consume, would be cut, and we know that it's in this sentence over here because we did all of that scanning. Where's consumption? Synonym for consumption, there it is over there. Use, what are we consuming? We're consuming that. Can you see cut? Cut is there. They tried to confuse you again because they used cut, but cut is over there. It's a nasty trick. That is the synonym for cut. Anyway, you didn't need it because the consumption told you that it's fossil fuels. That one was a bit difficult because of that word over there. Great. We need an adjective. This one is quite easy. We know the sentence. Light, something, what kind of light? It's a disadvantage. What kind of light are we looking for? Sentence is over here. Where's the adjective? Only one adjective. Well, there's an adjective there for the drawback. There's an adjective there for the light. Quite straightforward. Even if you don't know what it means, it's not a problem. You know that you're looking for an adjective. Again, we're looking for a S word. Planting in S word. Grow plants in, very straightforward, S word. Stacked trays, even if you don't know what it is. But we're looking for two, use this adjective. IELTS says you don't need it, but why not put it in? And finally, plural countable noun again, because it's in towns and cities, grown on. Please notice this is a good one to notice, probable. It's talking about the future, probably. It's a very nice word to remember. And the future, usually they talk about the future in the last few paragraphs. Anyway, just for fun, can you find probable? It's a very good synonym to try and find. Probable is there. That helps us to know that we're in this sentence. Anyway, we're looking for a plural countable noun. Maybe on will help us. Plural countable noun, skyscrapers. But skyscrapers is in the title. They won't choose that as the answer. Plural countable noun, only there. On urban rooftops, on rooftops in towns and cities. Alright, so it was a very interesting question type. A lot for you to learn here. What did you learn? Be careful of these groups when they say the name of the group, and same over here. Be careful of scanning for those. You won't find those words. This came from the whole thing, and that was a big difficulty with this question. But the key to solving that problem was, if you had just quickly looked at the boundary between the two question types, that boundary is very important. Find that boundary. In this case, the boundary didn't exist. That started way at the beginning again, which told you this was probably from everywhere. The third thing is that we were looking for plural countable nouns, plural countable nouns, plural countable nouns, plural countable nouns. The grammar helped us a lot there. Adjective over there. And then two uncountable nouns. The grammar really would have sped things up there. All right, let's move on to true, false, not given. We don't have much time left. Right, true, false, not given. This test, the more I look at it, the more I realize this test was all about scanning. It was a scanning test. If you could find the things, you were okay. It tested your exam technique, your scanning skill. Right, we found that. That was at the beginning. But before I even say anything, I just want to point out that this is what they used for the gap fill, and from there to the end of it, they used for the gap fill. All of this they haven't used, and all of this they haven't used. If you know that when you're scanning for the true, false, not given, you should focus on this unused text. I'm not saying it's always. With IELTS, nothing is always, but it's a good way to start. So, let's do our scanning then. I'm going to go quite quickly because I don't want this video to go on too long, so I'm not going to do circle words, and I'm just going to highlight what I think you should scan for, and then you go and find them. Right, that's what you should scan for. That's fine. These two are quite difficult. because they don't actually say that, but these last three, very good scanning words. Fertilizers, infectious diseases specifically. A good idea is find infectious diseases first. Alright, go and find those. Okay, Earth's population, right at the beginning. Human beings, destruction to food producing land. Nothing about human beings, but food producing land, land that is suitable for raising crops. Destruction, can you find it? Laid waste. This is probably the human beings. The management is the human beings. Season, I can't find it. Skip it. Climate change, a rapidly changing climate. Fertilizers, infectious diseases. Fertilizers, infectious diseases. So you can see they ignored all of this. They only took it from the text that they didn't use in the first question. Very important to see that. Again, I'm sorry, I wish I could say always. I can't, but it's 90% sure that they do that. Right, let's start quickly. Methods for predicting Earth's population have recently changed. Methods for predicting. Let's see what we can see. 80% Earth's population, nothing there. Methods. Methods is over there. They're trying to mix it up and just confuse you. They've combined that with that. This is traditional farming methods. It's not methods for predicting the Earth's population. So, not given. Nothing there about methods predicting the Earth's population. They just try to confuse you with using many of the same words. Human beings responsible for some of the destruction. I think there's our circle word, some of the destruction. Destruction is laid waste, some 15% by management practices. Yes, this is not animals, this is not climate, it's managers are human beings. So this is the human beings, some 15%, yes. Some can mean anything between 0 and 100%. You only get three things: none, some, and all. None, 0%. All, 100%. Some is anything between those two. Actually, this means about in this context, but don't worry about that. But yes, 15% has been destroyed by humans of that land. So, yes, true. I can't find it. I'm going to skip it. Some damage to food crops is caused by climate change. I don't know why they love this word some in this test. Some damage is caused by climate change. Please notice the however introduces important information. Massive drought, this is our climate change, destroying millions of tons. So some damage, destroying millions of tons, yes. Some can be millions. Some is anything between 0 and 100. So I'd have to go with true there. Fertilizers will be needed for certain crops in vertical farms. I would highlight this. This is a modal verb will. Sometimes they test that. Will it be needed? Will it not be needed for certain crops in vertical farms? All the food be grown organically, eliminating the need for fertilizers. Eliminate, cancel, delete, remove. That means it will not be needed. Eliminate means 100% gone. So, no, it will not be, they will not need these things. Will make plants less likely to be affected by infectious diseases. Will it or won't it? Again, the same thing. Will or will not. Greatly reduce, less likely. Greatly reduce the incidence. This is, incidence means number of events. Greatly reduce infectious diseases, less likely to be affected by infectious diseases. So, true. Now, seasons, you had to just go and try and find something about seasons. Very difficult one, very difficult paraphrase. We know that we're looking somewhere before. And actually the answer was there. Year-round production. It doesn't depend on the seasons. It's not only in summer or only in winter. It's all year round. So it is independent of the seasons. It does not depend on the seasons. Will not. So in this one, they tested the will 3 times. So please notice that. They like to do it. They're testing the modal verbs. Anyway, this is false. Great. That was a wonderful test. There was a lot for you to learn there. I advise you, do it again in a couple of weeks. Watch the video again. A lot of scanning skills. A lot of grammar skills. Great. That's it. Thank you very much.